I think my girlfriend has been using my gym socks to wipe after going to the bathroom. I don't even know where to start with this. I'm dumbfounded. She just stormed out the house and I'm sitting on the bed asking myself a lot of questions. I live a pretty normal life, and I thought so did my girlfriend. We've been together for a few months and after things got serious we moved in together. We started sharing a lot of the household responsibilities, but the one thing she was adamant on doing was the laundry. She would come home and find me in the bedroom getting the laundry together and would quickly ask me to go do something else. I'd come back to finish the laundry and she would have already started it. I always thought it was sweet and never her job to do it alone. But hey, if it makes her happy to do it all the time, I wouldn't stop her. This is where it takes a turn for the weird. I keep all my socks and underwear in the bottom drawer of my dresser. I also go to the gym frequently, so I always keep a good supply of clean gym socks ready to go. I never kept count, but I know by just a visual glance I have several pairs. This morning when I went to grab a fresh pair to pack for the gym, I noticed there were several dress socks, but no gym socks. Again, not weird. They must have been in the laundry. I went to check the laundry basket and it was empty. So I checked the washing machine and dryer. Both were empty. I couldn't figure out where all of my gym socks had gone. So, I did the very natural thing of asking my girlfriend what had happened to them. After all, she is the one who does the laundry all the time. She went silent, turned red and ran out of the room. When I went after her to see if she was okay she wouldn't talk to me. I told her I wasn't mad. I was just looking for my socks. She kinda mumbled, "I don't know." I still wasn't mad, of course, but I was super confused. Socks just don't disappear. So I asked her again, even laughed about it and she just looked at me and got mad and said I'll buy you new ones. The first thought that went through my head was she had somehow managed to destroy my socks while washing them. I thought the sight of that was actually pretty funny. So I joked with her about ruining my socks. Wrong thing to say. She started immediately crying, like full on sobbing. At this point I don't care about the socks anymore. I want to know what's wrong with my girlfriend. I sat down next to her on the bed and put my arm around her and asked her if she was okay. She just kept saying she was sorry and that she would buy me new socks. I tried assuring her again it was okay. Even went so far as to say I would buy new socks and she didn't have to. I sat with her for a few minutes trying to calm her down and eventually had to get ready for work. I told her loved her and got my things together to leave for the day. On my way out I grabbed the garbage to take outside. When I got outside I lifted the lid off the garbage can and I noticed a small plastic bag sitting on top of the garbage already in there. I could see through the bag, kind of the semi-see-through ones. There were socks in the bag. Since I was sure she had somehow managed to ruin the socks washing them, I wanted to see for myself. I opened the bag and immediately regretted my choice. There, inside the bag, were several pairs of my gym socks covered in what looked like poop. As soon as the smell hit me I knew it was poop. 1. We don't own any pets. 2. We don't have any kids. 3. Whose poop was on my socks? Work could wait. I couldn't go the rest of the day wondering why my gym socks were covered in poop and inside a plastic bag in the garbage can. I grabbed the bag and walked back inside. As soon as my girlfriend saw the bag she flipped out and started yelling at me. She said I shouldn't be going through the garbage and that I was disgusting for bringing it back into the house. I asked her to calm down and that I just wanted an answer as to why there was poop on my socks. I wasn't blaming her of anything, but she started accusing me of blaming her. That's when it clicked. I don't know what it was that led me to ask this, but everything leading up to this moment had just been so crazy. I asked her, "Is this your poop?" She started sobbing again and ran out of the house. I didn't go after her this time. So, now I am sitting on my bed with a bag of poopy socks on the floor and a lot of questions in my head. The only conclusion is that she used them after going to the bathroom, which that alone has its own set of questions above everything else. I sent her a text asking her to come back. She hasn't responded yet. I don't even know what I'm going to say when, if, she gets back. Update. I had to leave for work and am now at work. Yes, I threw away the bag of socks. She texted me back and she's clearly embarrassed, but felt she owed me an explanation. She said she didn't want to talk about it in person and that we could discuss it over texting and to not bring it up in person. I'm condensing the conversation and filling in some gaps as best as I can. Her responses are super short, but I'm getting the idea. I flat out asked her if it was a fish. It is not a fish. She confessed to using the socks after going to the bathroom. I found the reason she always does the laundry is because she was hiding the fact that she uses socks to wipe with, primarily her own. I had no reason to question the amount of socks she ever has because who pays attention to that kind of thing? She thought I would notice and think it was weird since she doesn't own many socks. She admitted she has done this for a long time. Her reasoning, as best as I can understand, is that because she is a germaphobe, her word, and she is afraid toilet paper will tear and is afraid of getting her hands messy in any way. She uses socks because it covers her entire hand. After she's done with them, she throws them away. She used mine because she didn't have other socks. So, my girlfriend has a fear of getting poop on her hands so she wipes with socks, and has done so for a long time. It could be worse, I guess. I hope we can laugh about this later. I'm trying to find the humor in it now, but I'm still weirded out. Yesterday I froze while being intimate and my girlfriend asked if we should stop. I said yes and she backed off. I've never been treated like this before. I 23 male have been SA'd before, twice, and this has affected me in subsequent relationships a lot. 2 days ago my girlfriend, 23, was in my lap and we were making out and suddenly the images of SA came into my mind and I froze. She obviously sensed it and asked if everything was okay but I couldn't answer and I'd begun to sweat. She got off my lap and asked if I wanted to talk but I still couldn't say anything. Then she asked if she should leave the room and I gave a small nod. She just grabbed her phone from the table and left. This has never happened with me. Nobody has listened to my no before. It feels weird, different, I don't know. The next morning when I woke up she had made breakfast and left me a note saying if I wanted to talk I could call her anytime. She came over after work and I thanked her for listening to me. I was almost in tears. She welled up too and said no obviously means no, but hesitation means no too, and that she would never knowingly hurt me. I've never been treated like this before. My parents were the worst, and almost every relationship I've had, 3, were also similarly awful. But she's different. She's been my rock when I've fallen low. She cooks for me because she wants me to be healthy. She leaves notes of affirmation all over the house for me to find and is generally the most genuine amazing person I've ever met. I want to show my gratitude to her and want to tell her how much she means to me but I don't know how. Also it's still weighing on me how my say matters to her. Never in my life have I ever been treated this way. So how do I tell how much she means to me, and will I stop feeling this way? Update. I thought I'd update y'all since so many people commented on my previous post. As I said in earlier, I wrote her a letter and it was much more difficult than I thought it would be, but I wrote what was in my heart and how much I loved her and thanked her for supporting me. I made some of her favorite snacks and took her to a small park nearby. We ate and watched the sunset together and then I gave her the letter I wrote. She cried and hugged me and we sat there talking about future aspects. And then I showed the post to her. She welled up again and asked if she could come to a few therapy sessions with me so that she could understand better what I was going through. Also it might help her not burn out. I will talk to my therapist about it and we'll see how it turns out. But that's about it. We went home, watched a movie and went to bed. I seriously feel so lucky to have her in my life. Here's to hoping for our best future together. Oh and, I seriously cannot thank you guys enough. Every single one of you who commented, even the rude ones, have made a difference. Seriously y'all are amazeballs. Thank you.
Boyfriend is upset that my brother didn't let him spend the night with me when I was very drunk and passed out. I've just turned 18 and can now legally drink where we live. So my brother invited me, my new boyfriend and a few friends and cousins over to hang out and maybe get drunk. I drank way more than I should have. People left one by one and I was only there with my brother and boyfriend. I don't remember much except that I woke up in his spare bedroom in the morning and my boyfriend wasn't there. Apparently I passed out on the couch. My brother took me to the bedroom to sleep. My boyfriend wanted to spend the night there but my brother said no. My brother says he didn't let him stay because he doesn't know him and he didn't know if we've been intimate, and I was completely incapacitated and couldn't consent to anything intimate, so he felt like it's safer to not allow him spend the night there with me. Boyfriend insisted that he didn't want to be intimate, just cuddling. He got confrontational with my brother and accused him of being controlling and said he has no right to decide if he can spend the night with me, which my brother told him I can decide you're not gonna spend another minute in my house. Boyfriend said he'll leave but he'll take me with him. Brother stood in his way and told him to either leave or deal with the police. Then my boyfriend left. So here we are. My brother thinks I'm dating a complete jerk. My boyfriend thinks I have a whole controlling brother and I've spent the last 2 days regretting drinking that much. My own feeling is that it would have been okay if my boyfriend spent the night with me in the bed, but absolutely not okay to be intimate. We haven't been intimate yet, been dating for less than a month. I understand why my brother acted in a protective way. I was drunk and letting a guy who is interested in me spend the night with me is just unnecessary risk. I also understand my boyfriend's disappointment, but he should have respected my brother in his own house. So now my boyfriend has demanded an apology from my brother for being mistrusted and for interfering in his relationship, and my brother had banned him from future events and parties at his place for being a jerk. My boyfriend would also like me to demand an apology on my own behalf from my brother for him acting the way he did, by assuming he can decide who I can or can't spend the night with. I'm in this mess and I need to make this disappear if I am to have some peace and make everything normal again with my relationship and family. What do I say to my boyfriend? I think he needs to drop this and move on, and over time show to my family that his behavior on the night wasn't who he really is to earn their trust. Update. Based on the advice of you guys, my parents and my brother, I broke up with my boyfriend, so I asked my boyfriend what he expected to happen that night if he was allowed to spend the night with me. He repeatedly said nothing but let slip that maybe he hoped we'd be intimate in the morning. So you guys were right. He wanted to do it that night with me and he probably would have if he was allowed to spend the night with me. Even the thought of it gives me a lot of stress. I always knew SA is a danger a lot of women and men face, but never felt it so close to me. Maybe because I've always been with people I trust, I don't know. I never thought it could happen so easily to me. It would have happened to me that night if my brother hadn't protected me the way he did. I'm going to be a lot more careful about my own safety from now on. I won't be as trusting to strangers, and I'm now learning my drinking limits so that I won't overdo it, especially where I might be vulnerable. My brother also told me to never accept a drink from the people I don't 100% trust. Thanks Reddit. So it has been brought to my attention my ex-boyfriend came on here to whine to y'all. Please do not feel bad for him, because that man quite literally left out so many things in his post to try to make me seem like the bad guy. If he wants to talk about our relationship to a bunch of strangers, fine. Yes, Mike was right about one thing. The relationship has been strained because of bills and finding well-paying jobs. That's literally because he has refused to work since 2020 when the virus started initially. We have been living off my CNA paycheck and the money my dad inherited to me. The only thing this man freaking did was stay in our guest room, play video games and live stream to his 10 viewers on Twitch and make absolutely no money. Not only did he have the audacity to make no money, but he got an $8,900 in online gambling debt. Then I gave him the money to pay off, like the dummy I am. So yes, I was heavily irritated with him given I was in nursing school and working at the same time. But it's not even the icing on the cake that he had conveniently left out. I was supposed to be expecting our first child this summer and I unfortunately miscarried. Instead of comforting me like a decent human being, he degraded me, blamed me for overworking myself, and said I caused the miscarriage myself. He randomly refused to sleep in the same bed as me, until I later find out he didn't find me attractive anymore and that he was disgusted by my body. I was depressed for months leading up to this and cried myself to sleep because I felt like I wasn't even good enough and developed an eating disorder. I guess he felt like verbally abusing me wasn't good enough, but started having an affair with my best friend since kindergarten. He was so dumb to leave his iPhone messages and I cloud synced to the iPad, so I knew everything he was saying about me. I was depressed for 3 weeks before cheating on him and hoping it was just a bad dream that a boy that was my first love and everything could hurt and hate me so much. So yes, last weekend when he said he was going out of town to see his dad, I knew he was lying and was going to go actually spend the weekend with my best friend. So yes, I called his brother over for help install something and his brother always flirted with me and I knew Mike was always jealous of his brother. It's quite pathetic when you think about it. His brother is on track to be a doctor and had multiple full-ride scholarships to multiple schools and is everyone's obvious choice between them, because he's actually a decent person. So yes, I screwed his brother all weekend and it was the best I felt in a long time. Is that morally wrong? Probably, but I needed to do it for my own sanity and to burn that bridge with our relationship so I can be done completely. The rest is directly to Mike since he blocked me. You don't get to play the victim online and act like you weren't actively trying to break me for these past 3 years. You made me feel worthless and that I wasn't good enough to get anyone else besides you. I hate that I wasted so much time on you, but I now realize I wasn't the problem, it was you. I hope you get help because you're actually a narcissist and I pray for any other girl it comes in contact, besides Fanny, because you guys deserve each other.
Update: I will leave my adoptive family overnight. All I'll leave them will be a letter. I didn't expect to give you an update so quickly, but in the brief time span between my post yesterday and this one right here, so many things happened that I have to update you right now. Let's start by what happened yesterday. First of all, I never expected my post to blow up like this. This is absolutely insane. I tried to read all of your comments and answer all direct messages, but it's just too many, so I'm sorry if I ignored you. Many of you had great advice, such as taking all my documents with me and go to the police, which I wanted to do today. Let's go through everything that happened chronologically. After reading through many comments, I decided to take my documents with me. So the evening before my adoptive parents went to bed, I snuck into their bedroom and took all documents that I could find and waited for nightfall. I packed my things and left when all of them were asleep. Everything went as planned. I silently left the house and went to my best friend's home. He had an apartment in a neighbor city, so I had to walk for a while. I arrived at his apartment between 2 and 3 a.m. He had a spare bedroom that he used for visitors who might want to stay for the night. We agreed that I could live with him as long as I want. He only expected me to find a job quickly, and if I do that, he wants me to help him pay the rent for it. I was fine with that. I slept through the night and in the morning I started looking for jobs immediately. But now a few hours something more than interesting happened. While I was on his laptop still looking through the online job advertisements and collecting them, the doorbell rang. He opened the door and I heard a familiar voice. But it wasn't one of my parents. It was one of my sisters. Maria, to be exact. The middle sister. I heard how she asked if I was here. He wanted to lie for me, but I decided to talk to her to find out what she wanted. So I appeared behind him and she went, "Thank God you're here," and hugged me. I was completely overwhelmed and surprised and didn't know what to say, and then she told me how she found me, and this is where things get more interesting. She told me that this morning a way too familiar sounding story appeared on her TikTok For You page. Apparently my story was shared by a TikTok account who actually had a quite big audience, and she became even more suspicious of the situation when her and the name of her sisters were also mentioned. To be sure about the situation, she went in the basement and into my room, where she found the room mostly empty and of course my letter. I mentioned in the story that I would stay with a friend, so she went out looking for me, telling our parents she was about to visit a friend. She said she drove to 2 different houses before finding the correct address. She apparently visited 2 other friends of me before finding the correct apartment. Apparently she also took the letter with her. She said she hasn't showed them the letter yet and wanted to talk to me first. No one besides her knew where I was or what I did the last night. She apologized to me and offered to talk with her on my side to our parents. She explained that the way I talked about her in the original post made her feel bad. She said she never hated me or anything. She admitted that she also protested against me having a room on their floor, but just because of Alicia's influence on her and because she believed her lies when she was younger. Now that I think about it, unlike Alicia and Juliet, she never called me bad names. She said that Juliet probably also is just insufferable because of how Alicia manipulated her. She said she never realized how bad I was treated. She never gave a second thought about me because Alicia spread rumors that I was just very socially awkward and overall didn't like any of them, and that I would just lock myself inside the basement like the worst introvert and all of that. And as a reason for her claims, she just reminded them that I was adopted, and that is why I would try to make myself the outsider. I said to her that this might explain why she and Juliet might have been like that to me, but not why my parents would have behaved that way. She replied that she also can just make claims here without any proof, but she thinks it's because even between them, Alicia is the golden child as the firstborn. Her and Juliet are only the failed attempts of them having a boy, and her being the golden child made it easier for her to manipulate both of them into believing the lies she told them. Then she said that she knows that mom and dad would be pretty easy to manipulate if you know how. And then she gave me 4 options. 1. I could come with her right now and talk with her to my parents. 2. She would let me think about it and leave but not tell my parents. 3. I refused to go back with her entirely, but she would tell them about the letter without telling them where to find me. 4. I refused to go back with her entirely, but she would pretend to not know anything but maybe stay in contact with me. I picked option 2 and she gave me her number. She said that if I decide to give them a chance she would support me but she would understand if I refused to. And now we are here. I don't know what to do. I would lie if say I wasn't tempted to give them a chance. But on the other hand, if it's true that Alicia is the one behind all of that, I don't know if I want to deal with her again.